Kevin is going on a road trip with his friend. However, his dad warns him of the possible risks of not being fully prepared. Kevin definitely needs to consider risk management. Project risk management is a collection of processes that interact with each other. These processes include risk management planning, identification, analysis, response planning, and monitoring and control. The output of these is a risk plan and risk register. Plan risk management develops a plan on how to handle project risks. Identify risk determines the risks that may affect the project and documents their characteristics. Qualitative analysis is an assessment tool to measure the probability of occurrence and impacts on the project. Quantitative risk analysis calculates the effect of risks on the project. Plan risk responses develops options to mitigate the risks. Monitor and control tracks the identified risks, identify new ones, and evaluates the effectiveness of the risk management process. The output of the risk management process is the risk register. Plan risk management is basically a meeting that discusses all aspects that would influence risks, and these are the major aspects. Identify risks is the process of determining which risks may affect the project and document their characteristics. The two main techniques to identify risks are information gathering and diagram. Some information gathering techniques are brainstorming, Delphi technique where experts participate in answering questions anonymously. Diagram methods are cause and effect diagrams, which identifies causes of the risks. Influence diagrams that show relationships among variables and outcomes. This process produces initial entries to risk register. They are lists of identified risks and potential responses. In Kevin's case, his dad is the expert. He helps Kevin identify the risks, which are car breakdown due to drained battery, oil leakage or electrical problem, on-road mishap due to accident, flat tire, no brakes or broken headlights, getting lost due to inaccurate address, detours or road changes. The identified risks are further analyzed in this process. One technique is the qualitative analysis. Risk probability assessment investigates the likelihood of risk occurrence. Expert judgment is required to assess the probability and impact of each risk, and these three interact with each other. This process updates the risk register. The risks are now grouped and ranked. In our example, Kevin's dad is applying his expert judgment. He has identified car breakdown and getting lost as having high probability of occurrence and medium impact, while on-road mishap and long-term delay as low probability and high impact. Quantitative risk analysis is then performed on risks that have been prioritized by the qualitative risk analysis process. The three common tools in this process are sensitivity analysis, expected monetary value analysis, and modeling simulation. More importantly, expert judgment is absolutely required. This process produces risk probability and therefore update the risk register. At this stage, the project is ready to plan responses. Not all risks are negative. There are also positive risks. Again, expert judgment is suggested to address these risks. Positive risks could be exploited to gain more benefits. Sharing a positive risk involves allocating some or all of the ownership of the opportunity. Enhancing is used to increase the probability and the positive impacts of an opportunity. Accepting an opportunity is being willing to take advantage of it, but not actively pursuing it. Negative risks can be simply avoided, and therefore the threat is eliminated. Risk transfer requires shifting some or all of the negative impact of a threat, along with ownership of the response, to a third party. Risk mitigation implies a reduction in the probability and/or impact of an adverse risk event. Accepting indicates that the project team has decided not to change the project management plan to deal with the risk or is unable to identify any other suitable response strategy. Therefore, the risk register is updated with planned responses. These planned responses are also well documented in Risk Register. To mitigate the risks, Kevin and his dad check the fluids in his car, check tire pressure, and bring a map and GPS. With this mitigation plan, Kevin and his dad are now more confident about his road trip. Finally, all these risks should be monitored and controlled. This process implements the risk response, tracks identified risks, identify new ones, and evaluate the effectiveness of the risk process. The suggested techniques in monitoring and control risks are risk assessment, risk audit to examine the effectiveness of risk responses, variance analysis to compare the planned results against the actual results, technical performance measurement, and reserve analysis to determine if the remaining reserve is adequate. This process produces the risk outcomes. The risk outcomes are recorded in the risk register. Remember, there are no guarantees on an endeavor or any project. Even the simplest activity can run into unexpected problems, and that is why risk management is essential. This now concludes our risk management tutorial. We hope you enjoyed it.